Hello children, I hope you all are fine and completing your assignment on time. Children, today we are going to continue our same chapter, that is 8th chapter, our skeletal system and the skin. So children, I hope whatever we had completed in last class you all understood and you read this lesson properly. So children, today we are going to continue the same chapter. So I hope you all are going to pay attention. Here we had completed the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton, that is here skull. The skull is formed by the bones of head and face. Bones of the skull are flat and strong. There are altogether 20 bones in the skull, 8 in the head and 14 in the face. Except for the lower jaw, none of the bones of the skull can move. So children, here we had studied about the skull, and the next one we had given in our activity, that is rib cage. In that rib cage, feel the left and the right side of chest with your hand or finger. How many bones can you feel all together on the two sides? So children, here the cage like structure in the chest is called the rib cage. In the chest there is one vertical flat bone called sternum. 12 pair of flat bones called ribs are joined to it sideways. These 25 bones form the rib cage. Now next one we had seen that spine. That is, the spine is formed by padlock shaped bones placed straight one above the other. There are altogether 33 bones in the spine, each called a vertebra. These bones are arranged one above the other flexible. The spine protects the spinal cord that originates from the brain. All this axial skeleton on page number 60 we had completed. We had seen the appendicular skeleton. The human body has 2 arms and 2 legs. The different parts of the arms and legs have several bones which are connected together by joints. And after that, there are 3 bones in each of the ears also. The stirrup is the smallest bone in our body. It is as small as a grain of rice and is hollow. Hollow means it's empty from inside. Its shape is like that of a stirrup. In the human body, the longest and strongest bone is the thigh bone or the femur. So children, here I hope related to our skeleton, axial and appendicular. After that, related to ear, bone, you understood all this. So we are going to continue our joints. Move the different parts of your body from the head to toes and observe the different places at which they can bend or turn. So children, here the bones in our body are connected to each other by means of ligaments. A ligament is the fibrous connective tissue that connects bones to other bones. I hope you understood the meaning of ligament. The bones in our body are connected to each other by means of this ligament, and the ligament is nothing but fibrous connective tissue that connects bones to other bones. Means two bones is connected with the help of these ligaments. So children, here we are going to continue that joints are the places where two or more than two bones are connected to each other. So here we can see so many joints are there, but joints, the definition, are the places where two or more than two bones are connected to each other. And joints are two types. First one is movable joint and second one is immovable joint. Movable joint, the joint which can move here and there, and immovable joint, the joint which one cannot move, is called immovable joint. Bones can move in movable joints. Example, bones of arms and legs. We can move everywhere. But for immovable joint, examples are bones of skull other than the lower jaw. So children, here bones of the skull, it will not move. For example, bones of arms and legs, because we know with the help of arms and legs we all are doing all the function of the body. That's why this both movable joint and immovable joints is working for our body. So types of movable joints. First one is hinge joint. In this movable joint, this type of joint, you all can see how it's moving. Allow the movements of bones only in one direction. It moves in 180-degree angle. Example, the elbow and knee joints. So children, here these two joints which show in hinge joint, they can move at 180-degree angle. Within this angle, all the joints can move. Now second one is ball and socket joint. In this type of joint, the bones can move in two or more direction. Here we can make the movement of joint, that is ball and socket joint, two or more direction also, and it's making angle of 360-degree. Example, shoulder and hip joint. So children, in hinge joint the movement is till 180-degree angle, and ball and socket joint, it's moving two or more direction, as well as it's making 360 angle of movement. So difference between both these is, that is, if for ball and socket joint, bones are taking the movement of 360-degree angle. Now third type of joint is gliding joint. In this type of joint, the bones can only slide over each other. Example, wrist and ankle joint. So children, here we can understand this type of joint is taking the friction between these bones. The bones can only slide over each other. Example, wrist and ankle joint. Can you recall which organ helps us to sense whether something is hot or cold, rough or smooth, etc.? So we get this sensation due to our skin. We all knows that all the type of sense, that is hot or cold, rough or smooth, such type of senses we can feel with the help of our skin. Next one is the skin. The skin is an important and large organ of all living things. Second point, the skin has hair. Third one, there are nails on the skin at the tip of the fingers and toes. The skin gives us the sense of touch. Next point, the skin is an important sensory organ of the body. The outermost covering of the body is called skin. We all know properly. Skin is the one of our sensory organ. Outermost covering of the body is called skin. So, the structure of the skin, here human skin is made up of two main layers. First one, the outermost layer is called the epidermis, and the layer below it is called the dermis. Means two layers are there. First one, outermost layer, and second one is dermis layer. Below the dermis there is a network of blood vessels and nerve fibers. The substances layer under this network maintains normal body temperature. The epidermis has various layers, as you all are seeing in our diagram. So children, here the subcutaneous layer under this network maintains normal body temperature, and the epidermis has various layers. Now we will see the function of the skin. First function is it's protecting the internal parts of the body like muscles, bones, organ system, etc. Second point, it helps preserve the moisture in the body. Third one, synthesizing vitamin D. Fourth one, releasing sweat to regulate body temperature. Next point, giving protection from the hot and cold. Next, the skin functions as the sensory organs of touch. Here are 6 points which were related to our function of the skin. Now children, here main parts of the skin is that protecting the internal parts of the body, and as well as it's preserve the moisture in the body. Now all the function which one is mentioned in our screen, all the parts of the function is important, and which one is functioning by the skin, giving protection from the heat and cold. In the same way, now you can tell, that is what happens when we walk or play in the hot sun. So children, here when we walk or play, our body temperature usually remains constant at approximately 37 degrees Celsius. Here main point is given. When we walk or play in the sun, we get tired, but at the same time our skin becomes wet. Why? Because we are playing. This is because of sweat. In the skin, there are glands which secrete sweat. They are called sweat glands. After being in the hot sun or after hard physical labor, the temperature of the skin rises. Then sweat is released. It helps to reduce the temperature of the body, and our body temperature usually remains constant at approximately 37 degree Celsius. Means normal body temperature is 37 degree Celsius. So children, whenever we are playing, then what happens when we walk or play in the hot sun? From our body releasing the sweat, and it helps to reduce the temperature of the body. Normal temperature of the body is 37 degree Celsius. So children, our next point which one we are going to continue, that is melanin. First point, in this melanin, a pigment called melanin is present in the cell of the epidermis. Second point, the melanin is synthesized in certain glands in the skin. Third one, the percentage of melanin decides the fairness or darkness of the skin. At this point, you all will understand properly. The percentage of the melanin decides the fairness or darkness of the skin. Because of this melanin only, some people's skin is fair or some people's skin is dark. The color of the skin also depends on the climate. Melanin protects our skin and the inner parts from ultraviolet sun rays. Because of this melanin, our skin protects, and because of this melanin only, the skin is in protection form. Inner part from ultraviolet sun rays, and skin, because of melanin, our skin getting protection from ultraviolet sun rays. Otherwise, our internal parts of the organs will affect because of ultraviolet sun rays. So, next one is use your brain power. First question is given, which color of the skin will give greater protection from the sun's rays? So children, here the darker skin would offer greater protection from the sun's rays, as darker skin contains more amount of melanin. Therefore, such skin will have better protective value against the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Means the which body's skin is darker color, they are getting more protective value against the ultraviolet rays of the sun. So children, our next question, how does sweating help to lower temperature of the body? The sweat from sweat glands spreads on the surface of the skin. It evaporates due to the heat, and at that time it draws heat from the body. As the evaporation takes place further, more and more heat is absorbed, and then body becomes cooler. Thus, sweating helps to lower temperature of the body. Here, if the evaporation takes place, then more and more heat is absorbed. Why more and more heat is absorbed? Because of this evaporation happens. So next one is observe and discuss. So children, observe your skin and the skin of your grandmother, grandfather, or any old people in the house. What difference do you notice? As we grow older, the proportion of fat beneath the skin reduces. However, the previously taut skin does not shrink. The previously which taut skin is there doesn't shrink. This causes wrinkles on the skin of older people. So we are seeing wrinkles to our grandmother or grandfather's skin. Maybe you all also seen in your grandparents' skin. Because of as we grow older, the proportion of beneath the skin reduces. Because of that reason, we are seeing wrinkles to our grandfather or grandmother, or suppose old people are there in our house, we can observe that their skin is having wrinkles. So children, next one is, do you know? Here it is melanin that determines the color of our hair too. Jet black hair is due to pure melanin. White, brown, lighter hair is due to sulfur in the melanin, and reddish hair due to iron in the melanin. So here we had important point, that is while brown lighter hair is due to sulfur in the melanin and reddish hair because of due to iron in the melanin, means through which color is there we are getting the our skin. First point we had seen, black hair is due to pure melanin. Second one we had seen, brown lighter hair because due to sulfur. And third type of iron, that is reddish hair, and because of iron in the melanin. Next point is, always remember, for the health of our skin, it is important to keep it clean. Discriminating between people based on their skin color is unscientific and wrong. Avoid the temptation of using artificial means to become fair. I think those who are using, they should understand properly. Discriminating between people based on their skin color is unscientific and wrong. So avoid the temptation of using artificial means to become fair. You should keep it in mind. We should not use sometime something we can use, but most of the artificial things we should not use. So children, last point from this lesson. What we have learned from this lesson? First point, we have learned all the bones in the body along with the cartilage together form the skeletal system. Next one, we had seen that because of the skeleton gives shape and support to the body, our body functioning properly. Next point is, the outer covering of the body is called the skin. I hope whatever the function of the skin is there, you understood properly. Next point is, the skeletal system and the skin perform the important function of protecting the body and the internal body parts. Next point, we must take care of our skeletal system and skin. Next, the skull, the rib cage, the backbone and the bones of the arms and the legs are the main parts of the human skeletal system. Here, skull is the main part of our body, which one is giving the protection to our brain. Next point is epidermis and dermis are the two main layers of the human skin. So children, here we had completed our lesson. You read lesson thoroughly because your oral exam is also there as well as your semester exam is there. That's why you all children read the lesson properly and learn whatever the points is important. I hope you all are keeping learning continuously. So children, whatever homework is given based on this chapter, you will complete all that. If any doubt is there regarding this chapter, you will clear your doubt with the help of your subject teacher. So children, be safe, healthy and happy. Thank you.